47 minutes. That's all it took. 47 minutes of absolute chaos in the dead of night. Today, we're going to break down a naval crisis in the Persian Gulf that pushed two nations right to the brink of war. It's a story that really reveals just how fragile global security can be.
So our story kicks off in the pre-dawn darkness. Picture this. You're on the bridge of a U.S. Navy destroyer, the USS Bruins. It's just supposed to be another routine patrol in one of the most volatile, high-stakes waterways on the entire planet. But that routine? Yeah, it's about to be completely shattered.
The first hint of trouble comes from a radar operator. Just a few small, scattered blips on the screen. No big deal, right? Well, then there are a few more. And a few more after that. Within just minutes, the screen is absolutely flooded. The contacts just keep multiplying until the radar is tracking 107 separate vessels, and they're all moving fast, all heading straight for the destroyer. Commander Sarah Mitchell gets woken up and rushes to the bridge. And what she sees on that radar display? Well, it's the nightmare scenario. It's the one that every single naval commander in the Persian Gulf has trained for, but desperately hoped they would never ever have to face. A textbook swarm attack, the signature move of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy. So you have to be asking, how could one of the most powerful warships in the world be so vulnerable to a bunch of small boats? The answer is a concept called asymmetric warfare. It's a strategy that's all about turning your opponent's biggest strength, in this case super advanced technology, and making it their biggest weakness.
The whole situation is really defined by some pretty brutal economics. Just look at these numbers. For less than the cost of just 10 of the missiles needed to stop them, Iran can build and arm 100 of these speedboats. For the attacker, the simple mathematics of attrition is totally in their favor.
And listen, don't make the mistake of thinking these are just some fishing boats. No way. They are packed to the gills with all sorts of low-cost but incredibly lethal weapons. We're talking heavy machine guns, RPGs, even rocket launchers. Every single one is designed to inflict maximum chaos and damage on a much, much bigger and more expensive target.
Okay, so for Commander Mitchell up on the bridge, things are getting dangerous, and they're getting dangerous fast. You've got over 100 boats closing in, and she has mere seconds to make a choice that could either prevent a total disaster or it could ignite a full-blown war. The pressure is just immense.
Now, her actions are dictated by very strict rules of engagement. Those are the official protocols for using force. She is required, by the book, to climb this ladder of escalation. She has to exhaust every single non-lethal option before she can use deadly force. It is an incredibly tense, high-stakes game of chicken, and it's being played at over 40 knots in the dark.
But here's the thing. The Iranian crews, they're not playing by those same rules. They completely ignore the official hails on the radio. Instead, they respond with these chilling threats, specifically designed to bypass all that protocol and just ramp up the psychological pressure on the American commander.
Then, at 4:16 in the morning, after every single warning has failed, that game of chicken comes to a screeching halt. A lead Iranian boat guns its engine, and its gunner aims his heavy machine gun right at the USS Bruins bridge. That single action, that is an unambiguous demonstration of hostile intent. The final red line has just been crossed.
Commander Mitchell gives the only order she possibly can. Weapons free. And for the next 47 minutes, the night just erupts. It is a blur of defensive fire, incoming rockets, and controlled chaos as that destroyer fights for its life.
The USS Bruins unleashes its entire defensive arsenal. And it's not just one weapon, you know? It's a sophisticated, layered system designed to take on threats at all different ranges. From Hellfire missiles launched by helicopters miles away, all the way down to the absolute last line of defense, the Phalanx CIWS, a Gatling gun that can fire 4,500 rounds a minute. Just incredible.
The timeline of this whole battle is just unbelievably compressed. Think about it. Only 1 minute separates the warning shots from the first kill. The main engagement itself is this brutal half-hour slugfest, which then just ends. Suddenly, the surviving Iranian boats mysteriously withdraw.
So, when the firing finally stops, the geopolitical fallout is just beginning. The shockwaves from this 47-minute battle in the middle of the night start radiating from the Persian Gulf and spread across the entire globe.
And if you look at the numbers, the outcome seems pretty clear, right? The U.S. Navy didn't lose a single ship, and they destroyed 31 of the attacking boats. I mean, by any military measure, that is a tactical victory. But it came at a huge strategic cost. 2 American lives were lost, and global tensions just went through the roof.
And this whole thing matters so much because of where it happened. The Strait of Hormuz is the choke point for a fifth of the world's entire oil supply. A fifth. Within hours of the news breaking, oil prices spiked by 8%. That's a direct hit to the global economy.
Almost immediately, both nations start telling completely different stories. Iran claims its vessels were on routine exercises and were attacked without any provocation. The U.S., on the other hand, asserts it acted in self-defense against a hostile swarm, making sure to point out that multiple warnings were given first. The blame game was on.
You know, after all the diplomatic fireworks, the fundamental standoff, it didn't really change. Strategically, nothing was different between the two nations. But for the sailors who were there, everything had changed. The human cost of this dangerous standoff was now, tragically, terribly real. 2 American sailors lost their lives in the attack. One was aviation boatswain's mate Michael Rodriguez. He was just 24 years old, from San Diego, and he was manning a .50 caliber machine gun on the weather deck when his position was hit. And the other was operations specialist Jennifer Chen. She was only 22, from Houston. She was at her station deep inside the ship, in the Combat Information Center, when an RPG managed to penetrate the superstructure.
Later, in her testimony before Congress, Commander Mitchell just perfectly captured the incredible weight of her decision. There were no good choices that night, only choices. And that's a burden that's shared by commanders and hotspots all around the world, constantly being forced to choose between the least bad options.
The incident with the USS Baroons proved that in these vital, crowded waterways, a catastrophic escalation is always just one commander's decision away. And that leaves all of us with a lingering and, frankly, a vital question for the future of global security. What happens next?